Hi all and welcome back. Hotfix 3 for No Rest for the Wicked just dropped, and it focuses on fixing one of the biggest problems the game has had on PC since launch, which is mouse and keyboard support. So the question is whether this finally makes the game feel right without needing a controller. Let's dive into it. The game's movement often felt confused. Sometimes the game followed WASD, sometimes it followed the mouse. And a lot of the time, it just felt like it picked the wrong option at the worst possible moment, especially in combat. Your character didn't always face where you expected, lock-on felt awkward, and rebinding barely worked properly. So for many people, the easiest solution was simply to plug in a controller and move on. Now, Moon Studios just released a big update focused almost entirely on fixing these problems. So the real question is whether this actually changes anything, or if it's just another patch note that sounds better than it feels. Let's go through what changed. First, movement. They've added multiple proper layouts now, including combined movement that mixes WASD for general navigation with mouse precision on narrow paths, a mouse-only layout for people who prefer click to move, and a version that's more suited to magic-focused builds. More importantly, they finally explain what each layout is meant for, because before this update, most players didn't even know what they were using, let alone whether it made sense for their build. On top of that, they improved Move to Cursor, added a tutorial for it, and introduced a setting that lets you turn off running toward the mouse entirely if you prefer pure keyboard movement, which gives you much more control over how the game actually responds to your inputs. That alone removes a lot of the frustration people had. Second, keybinds. They cleaned up the default layout, moved run to shift, gave utility runes proper keys, fixed menu behavior so you can close things with the same button you open them with, and most importantly, they fixed rebinding, sometimes not saving, which sounds minor on paper, but was genuinely infuriating in practice. Third, lock-on. Hard lock no longer needs to be held. Switching targets is more reliable, and the scroll wheel behaves better, which makes combat feel more predictable, especially when you're fighting multiple enemies at once. So, is everything perfect now? No, not really. You still can't freely bind multiple actions to the same key, and they've already said that's something they want to improve later. And some people will simply never enjoy mixed WASD and mouse systems, no matter how polished they are. Also, parry on middle mouse is still going to annoy some players, because that button just isn't very reliable on a lot of mice. But compared to how things felt at launch, this is a real step forward. Mouse and keyboard no longer feels like an afterthought, and while it's not suddenly perfect, it finally feels like something the developers are actively supporting instead of tolerating. So if you tried No Rest for the Wicked on PC before, didn't like how it felt, and stopped playing because of the controls, it's honestly worth giving it another shot now. Not because everything is fixed, but because it's finally reasonable. That was it. If you like videos that don't waste your time, please consider to like and subscribe. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.